Okay, we are officially live with Ariana Vincent from the Ariana Vincent Institute. So, how are you doing tonight, Ariana?
I'm wonderful, Ryan. Thanks so much for interviewing me tonight.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and it will be a pleasure, of course. So, how long have you had the Ariana Institute?
I've had Ariana Institute for 11 years.
11 years now?
I became a continuing education provider in Texas when Texas first began requiring continuing education credits of their licensed massage therapist.
Okay.
So I was one of the first providers. I'm number 0024.
Okay. That's always a good thing.
It is. I'm a vanguard in many ways.
Yep. And what do you like? What do you enjoyed about being a CE provider then?
I really love connecting with people on a level that's enriching to them, that helps enrich their lives, and it also helps build a sense of community. And I feel like when you share an educational process with someone, you touch their heart and they touch yours. And I find that very rewarding on many levels.
So how many people would you say you've taught so far over these years for continuing ed?
Well, the number's in the thousands. I'd say probably about 3,000.
Okay, and is that mostly online people then, or more in class then?
Well, online is a recent new adventure for me, and I'm so excited about it. I just love it. It was just 2 years ago in January that the Texas Department of State Health Services began allowing online continuing education credits for Texas therapists. And so that's when I began my process of investigating the online classes and determining which classes would best fit the online format, and also combining that with what was acceptable with the National Certification Board. And so I combined, when I was designing my classes and developing the curriculum, I looked at what was acceptable in terms of national certification as well as, at that point, Texas certification. And now I've gone, this last winter, or actually winter before last, I spent a lot of time contacting each state, state by state, and determining what their rules and regulations were regarding online continuing education credits. And so now I'm approved as a continuing education provider in virtually every state in the United States, including Washington, D.C.
Okay. Have you run into any kind of problems providing online continuing education then?
No, there's some challenges. I mean, just syncing up what NCBT and B accepts and what the states accept is sometimes a little bit challenging. For example, Texas will accept any online, well, not any, but certain online continuing education courses that are not kinesthetic. And the National Board will accept kinesthetic classes. And so I've geared my classes currently to specifically classes that are cognitive. And so I teach overview classes rather than technique classes. However, I hope to branch out and divide my classes up, so I'll have a group of classes that are accepted in Texas and then a group of classes that are accepted by the National Certification Board, because more and more people, including therapists in Texas now that we're a 500-hour state, are becoming nationally certified.
Yeah, weren't you guys 250 hours back in the day for regulations? Yeah.
We were 300.
Oh, okay, sorry. Forgot about that 50 hours, sorry.
Right. Interestingly enough, when I was first licensed, it was 40 hours.
Okay.
And so when I was first licensed, there was a 40-hour requirement that you had to have taken a Swedish class with someone. And, of course, there were no official continuing education providers at that time. And so I studied independently with Jonathan and Marsha Walker, who have been lifelong friends, and it's turned into a wonderful lifelong profession for me. So I'm really glad that I did that. And then subsequently, I took numerous advanced continuing education courses, as well as going back to school and taking the 300 hours core curriculum courses.
And were you grandfathered in then, when they made it 500 hours?
Yes, I was grandfathered in twice, actually.
Okay.
That's how long I've been around.
Yeah.
I'm your grandmother.
Yeah.
all grandmothers.
Yep.
And so, yes, I was grandfathered in. However, I moved out of the state and let my license lapse. And so when I moved back to Texas, I was required to go back to school, even though I'd been in practice for 20 years. And so in 1999, I went back to school and took the core curriculum classes again.
Yeah, because I know Minnesota's not regulated, so we run into problems all the time. The old timers, they are scared about the grandfather clause all the time. So
yes, most of the states, as I researched state by state, most of the states have a time-limited grandfather clause that they will let therapists who can prove that they've been practicing a certain number of hours or a certain number of years. The states are very generous about that when they first set up their programs. As I've found, it's rather typical that states are very considerate and want to help therapists who are already in practice merge into the new system.
okay. And then, is there any uniformity from state to state regarding continuing education credits? Have you?
Well, there's. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, there's a movement toward uniformity, and I'm really glad to see that. When I went to the World Massage Festival last year, there was a discussion during the World Massage Festival panel discussion about uniformity and reciprocity. And so I can see that we're moving in that direction. And a lot of the states do have rules and regulations that are very similar. Some of them require 6 hours, some require 12, some require 24. It varies from state to state. And yet the basic concept is the same, that we all want to see the people who are in the massage therapy profession continue with their education. And so that, I think, is a wonderful thing. And for me personally, as a therapist, as well as for me as a continuing education provider, because I can see the benefits, of course, that offers. And yes, there's a movement toward uniformity. Right now, it's still independent, and so that's what makes it necessary for a CE provider to keep up to date with the rules and regulations and how the rules and regulations change state to state.
What's the easiest way to keep up to date, would you say, for that?
Contact each state individually.
Okay.
And track it. Just keep a track on that, and stay in touch with your national organizations and also with Massage Today magazine, because they report when new states become states that require continuing education, or when they are states who have previously not required even licensure. And so you can keep in touch with your national organizations, and also on Facebook. I find a lot of very valuable information on Facebook, and that's how I met you.
Okay.
So I would say stay informed. You know, that's the best way to do it, and communicate with the people who make the rules and regulations in the state. Email's quick and easy, and you can just find out if the rules and regulations have changed. And it's really a matter of each provider making it their responsibility to stay up to date.
And do they actually let you know at all in advance if there's any kind of changes, or is that your responsibility basically?
No, the onus of responsibility for that is typically on the provider.
Okay.
And so it would be very challenging for each state to contact each provider. And so usually that's not considered a responsibility of the state, rather a responsibility of the massage therapist to keep abreast of changes, and also of the continuing education providers to keep abreast of changes.
Okay. And what type of classes do you offer at the Ariana Institute?
Well, I've been a massage therapist for 30 years, and so I teach what I love. And I just made it a rule when I first started teaching that I really wasn't going to teach anything that I didn't really feel passionate about. And so I teach about 25 classes right now. I teach everything from deep tissue to Reiki in terms of technique classes. And then I also teach a lot of more cognitive classes, which are, an example would be my practice building class. And really emphasizing that a lot now, especially in today's economy, how important practice building and marketing and job search information is for a potential massage therapist, or for massage therapists who want to increase their client base, or for people who are thinking about working in spas or clinics. And so usually my practice building classes are geared in that direction. And also I really love to talk about using technology to increase your job search if you're looking for a job in massage therapy, and I found that a lot of therapists usually have one or two jobs. They may have a primary job that's not even in the field of massage therapy, and then have a massage therapy job, or they may have 2 or 3 ways that they configure their massage therapy job. So I just kind of make it easier to find ways to put the pieces of the puzzle together to make a cohesive whole that works well, not just economically, but also for the clients, for the therapist lifestyle.
Okay. And do you use social networking as part of your CE class in marketing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love social networking for part of my marketing, for my CE classes. I use Facebook quite a bit. That's my #1 social marketing tool. I also love LinkedIn. It's designed more for professionals, and there's several groups in LinkedIn that are specifically designed for professionals in the massage therapy profession. And so I'm a member of LinkedIn and Facebook, and I also use MySpace, but to a rather limited degree. I think Facebook has really taken over more than that. And I have, what's the other one? LinkedIn, but Twitter. I'm a Twitterer, so I like to send out tweets. And I send out tweets about classes that are available and information that I feel may be of value to a massage therapist who would want to increase their income, for example, by having more classes, or to increase their knowledge base by having more clients, or to increase their knowledge base by taking more classes. I also use Yahoo quite a bit. In Texas, we have a Central Texas Massage Yahoo group, so we use that quite a bit to stay in touch with one another. And then I use online electronic calendaring systems that help me publicize my classes online. Massage Today is one of the best examples of that. They have a magazine, as you know, that comes out regularly and goes to many massage therapists, and so I subscribe to that, and they also have an online program where you can go online and see what classes are available. Where the online calendaring systems are lacking right now is they don't really have a place for online classes. Interestingly enough, they're online calendaring systems, but most of them only list classes that are classroom-based classes, and they have a calendar, like a monthly calendar. So that's something that I hope changes in the future, that I'm able to market the online classes via the online calendaring system in some way, shape, or form. But that's still in the works.
Do you see with do you think Facebook is the most beneficial out of all of them so far, or Twitter, or which one do you think you prefer?
Yes, currently I prefer Facebook. However, it's a system where you don't have absolute control over the changes that are made in Facebook in terms of privacy, for example. And you also are limited to the number of people that you can friend on Facebook. I noticed that you're up to 2,729 people right now.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
And Mr. Massage Nerd.
Yeah.
And you know there's a limit of 5,000 people.
Yep. So that's why I got a fan group page too and stuff like that. So if it ever comes to that point and stuff, but yeah, if it happens, it happens. I'm okay with it. Because I know with Facebook they keep changing the rules all the time too. So you got to keep up to date on that too. So.
Yes, absolutely. And so right now it's a very good system, but I think it's essential that any continuing education provider have their own website. And if they don't, I think that's well, actually, what I heard the other day was a person who doesn't have a website does not exist in the world. That was just a little harsh, I thought. But it is true that if you have a website that was designed by, a 10-year-old, and it looks like that, then perhaps you may want to rethink how you want to present yourself to the public. And so I think it's really important that we don't rely exclusively on Facebook, but that we use many different marketing techniques to publicize whatever we're doing, whether it's massage therapy or education or anything else in our profession. And so I'm really a fan utilizing the social networks that we have in place now and continuing to look and investigate and see what else is out there and what works and what doesn't, and to eliminate those that don't work. There's some places where you have to pay money to be listed, and then I track that. I keep a track of when my students come in, how they were referred to me. And so I look from year to year to see which ones are viable and which ones aren't. And I stay with usually the top 10 that are the most viable.
And what do you think are really viable paid places to list your continuing education classes?
Well, the one I just mentioned, Massage Today, is a paid place, and it's a very viable place to list.
Any other ones that you can think of then?
Let's see. Not off the top of my head. I seldom use paid places. Usually I utilize my resources enough to find places that are free or relatively reasonable.
And I know some people are even paying through Facebook, so they're having the ads on the side, so there's almost too many options out there.
There certainly are.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I do pay for that I find extremely valuable, and it's a whopping $72 every 6 months, which is really affordable, is Meetup. I've started 2 Meetup groups in Austin, and one is for not just Austin, but Austin and the world. Everyone, all of the listeners, are welcome to join the Meetup groups, and one of them is Your Austin and the World Continuing Education Meetup, and the other one is Your Austin Massage Meetup. And so one is more for technique and for people who want to get together and talk about massage therapy, and the other one is specifically for people who are interested in continuing education. And so that's a place where I do invest my money and find that it's valuable. And I would love to take out full-page ads in all the major publications, but that's not in my budget right now.
Okay.
So I look at ways that are affordable to me, and over the years I've been able to slowly add. As time goes by and as the income increases, then I look at where I can put my marketing money that will be most valuable, where I'll get the most, as someone described it at the Apple store the other day, the most bang for the buck.
Yep, exactly. And do you teach most of the classes that you house at the Ariana Institute then? Or do you have
100%.
100%? Okay.
100%. I'm a one-man band.
Okay.
I design the classes, I sweep the floors, I do the teaching, and I do all the marketing and all the tax work, and I'm just a very independent person, and I love being that way. In the past, I've had assistants working for me, and right now I'm just totally independent, and I'm very happy. I know how to pace myself and budget my time, and I'm very well organized, and so that helps. So at the present time, I'm the sole proprietor, and I do teach and design all of the classes, both the online classes and the classroom classes. In the future, I'd like to hire assistants and perhaps other teachers to come in and work with me. And I'm also collaborating with some other instructors about expanding our continuing education classes in a variety of ways.
Okay. And what part of your educational experience helped best prepare you for becoming a CE provider, would you say?
Well, one of the things that I do educationally now, I go to meetup groups that are specifically related to marketing. And so I've gone to several of those meetup groups, and over a period of time I found the groups that are best attuned to what I need in my profession in the healthcare field. I also attend informal courses in marketing at the University of Texas that are offered by the McComb School of Business. It's a really great school, and they're open to letting people in the community come to their workshops, and I've just met some of the nicest people there that have really informed me and mentored me and helped educate me in terms of having the best possible institute that I could have. And I had some great instructors at the University of Texas where I obtained my bachelor's degree. And then you'll love this since you're a massage nerd. One of my best educational experiences have been at the Apple store.
Oh, yep.
I think $100 maybe to get this 1-year membership in the Apple store called One-to-One.
Uh-huh.
And so with that One-to-One membership, I can go learn how to better utilize my Mac. And so just this morning, I learned iMovie. And so I learned iMovie so I could integrate videos with my online and my classroom courses. And I've really just loved going there for these classes. They have classes in specific subjects, and then they also have the one-to-one training and group training. And so for me, that's been one of my best investments, was to upgrade to the Mac from the PC, and now learning to utilize the Mac to its fullest capabilities. And so I can expand my classes beyond the written word and have more visuals and audio information available for my students.
And it seems so many people, yes, so many people want the whole visual thing, and so it's just so much easier for them. And iMovie, I'm in love with that program, and I'm starting to advance even more. So I had to get Final Cut Express, so it's more advanced version. But I'm in the learning stages of that now. So.
I took Final Cut Pro class yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little $1,000 program right there.
Yeah.
The Express is a little less expensive. I think it's under $200.
Yep.
But yes, I mean, once I learned iMovie, I'm yearning for more already.
Yep, exactly. And that's what, yeah.
No wonder they're number one in customer service.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And in addition to offering CE classes, what other professional services do you offer?
Well, I am a practicing massage therapist, and so that's wonderful for my students when they come to see me for sessions, and after they've completed a class and they want to actually experience the technique from me, then they can schedule a session. If they've taken a deep tissue upper body, for example, they can come receive a deep tissue session with me, and of course during the session we can talk about technique. And so, and also on another level, it keeps me not an ivory tower person, but a person in the trenches. You know, they know, my students know that I'm a working professional, and so they know that I can empathize with what they experience, especially with the economic upswings and downturns that we experience. You know, and how to stay afloat.
And with the whole recession thing that's happened in the last few years, do you think continuing education has taken a hit during that time, or do you think they're surviving still, people that are offering continuing education?
Well, there was a period there where people were really holding their money close to their vest, and now I've noticed that people are thinking about, what can I do to increase my income? And so one thing that I encourage people who are in the massage therapy profession to do is to diversify. And one way to diversify is to come to continuing education classes. And another thing to do if you want to go, if you've had a private practice and you think, well, it may be time to supplement that with a little clinic work or spa work, what do I need to do to bring my skill level up to the point where I can not only work in a spa or a clinic, but be well booked in that spa or in that clinic? And so therefore I would recommend to that person deep tissue, pregnancy massage, a really good grasp of Swedish, aromatherapy. A lot of your spas are using aromatherapy, and it just really depends on where the person's working. When I worked at the Crossings Wellness Spa here in Austin, we had 52 different treatment modalities.
Oh.
And massage, and it was just really a wonderful learning experience to be part of that community when I worked out there, because I was constantly learning. I was taking classes, outside so I could get checked off on another modality, and I always encourage people to do that. And so I think that's one way to recession-proof your practice. And of course, working in medical massage, the more people can know about certain techniques. I teach a lymphatic massage for the face and neck class, for example, and lymphatic massage can be a very valuable tool and part of the medical modality. And if someone is really has a definite need for that, if they've had a facial injury, for example, then I feel like that could help someone who's having a difficult time financially move up the ladder a little bit and better support themselves in the massage therapy field. And that segues nicely into the other professional service that I offer. In addition to teaching and massaging, I'm also offer a mentoring service. And so many people use the mentoring service, especially if they're new to town. For example, they just moved to Austin. They know Ariana's been here 30 years, and she's been teaching 11. And so they'll come to me for mentoring to get a feel for the community, where to go, where not to go, what modalities are big in Austin, and this, what kind of community is it? We're a very athletic and very sports-oriented community, and so people do come for mentoring, and other people come for mentoring more along the lines of setting up their own private practice and how to do that, how to set up their system so that it works well.
And what is your most popular modality that you teach at your facility?
Well, by far it's the deep tissue. The deep tissue classes are the most popular because they're the most marketable. And next to that are the facial massage classes. They're very popular. And then the third most popular class is headache and allergy relief. Now, those are the three most popular classes that I'm teaching this year. But they vary from year to year. But that's what's most popular this year. Some years Reiki's really hot. It's really hard to predict. So I teach Reiki level 1, 2, and 3, and after the Reiki level 3 class, a person can become a Reiki master or is a Reiki master, and they can also teach Reiki. And so that would be another way that one of my students, or many of my students, have increased their client base as well as their income because they can teach Reiki after studying with me and getting their 3 levels of Reiki. So that's a big help too.
Yep. And then, and what's the most popular online one so far that you've...
The most popular online has been my massage therapy instructor course, which is not even a continuing education course. Well, let me go back and rephrase that. It's acceptable as a continuing education course in Texas, and not in Texas. It's not acceptable as a continuing education course for CE credit in Texas, but it is acceptable as a continuing education course for CE credit at the National Certification Board. And this is the kind of research that I think is important for a continuing education provider to have done, to know specifically where the courses are acceptable and where they're not acceptable. So this is a 30-hour class, and so that's been by far my most popular class because it's an independent online massage therapy instructor course. And what that means, since it's a 30-hour course, is that people don't have to take 4 days out of their income-producing time in order to sit in a classroom and take a classroom course. And also my class is less expensive. It's $225 compared to what it would cost to take a classroom class.
And what kind of things do they get out of the online class for instructing and stuff? I mean, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, it would be the same thing that you would get in a classroom class. We talk about different styles of teaching, different things that may arise in the classroom and how to handle those things, different philosophies about teaching, including Aristotle and Socrates, and basic principles of learning. In fact, that's what it's called, the principles of adult learning. And so anything that a person would need to know about learning and how a person best learns. People don't usually learn best in 6-hour segments. They usually learn best in 30-minute segments interspersed with some technique. And so we talk about that in the class, in the online class.
And before you were a massage therapist, what did you do?
Well, like many people, I've worn a lot of different hats. I graduated from the University of Texas with a degree in fine arts and liberal arts with a minor in psychology, which has helped me a lot in my massage therapy practice, and a major in photography. And it was through my major in photography and my interest and love in photography that I became acquainted with the field of massage therapy. I photographed for the Austin Area Holistic Health Association. The president is a massage therapist, and I received a massage session from her, and I love that very much. And then I met 4 people in the community of the Austin Area Holistic Health Association, Jonathan and Marcia Walker, who were my primary core curriculum teachers, and then Stephen Summers and Mark Sanders, who were 2 chiropractors, and they hired me to work in their office as a chiropractic assistant. And then when they opened their new building that offered complimentary care, they invited anyone who was already working in their facility to get the proper education and then move up. And so I moved from a chiropractic assistant to a massage therapist. And so it just seemed like a natural flow. And if I hadn't photographed the Austin Area Holistic Health Association, I might be doing something completely different. It's interesting how life takes us on those rather serendipitous routes, isn't it?
Yep, because my mom, the only reason I'm into massage is because my mom talked me into it, so you have to listen to your mom. But
actually, I do come from a family of healers. My great-great-grandfather was a horse and buggy doctor in rural Kansas. Yeah, and my dad was a medical doctor, a general family practitioner in Houston, and my mother was a pediatric intensive care registered nurse at Fort Sam Houston for 37 years. And so I do come from a family of healers, so there's the genetic predisposition also. Yeah. That's true.
Yep.
And I love the profession. It fits my lifestyle. It fits my my basic philosophy. And I just really enjoy the students coming. The other day, a student, when she left the class, she said, well, now you can have the peace and quiet of your house back, or your office back. And I thought, I really miss the students when they're gone. I enjoy having them here. You know, it enriches my life, it livens me up, and it's very stimulating for me when they ask questions or when a student comes in and they want to share a technique during the class, and it's just so exciting. It keeps me constantly alive. You know, it keeps those glial cells in the brain activated. I'm so grateful. Yep. I could be a vegetable right now. It's a constant learning process. In fact, I'm going to be taking a couple of classes I'm very excited about. One of them is an oncology class at MD Anderson Hospital in Houston, and the other class is a trauma aid class on working with people who have post-traumatic stress disorder. And one of the classes that I teach is called Soothing Trauma, and it's designed for people who are working with individuals who are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and other types of trauma. And my office Austin is relatively close to Killeen, and there's a big military base at Killeen. And so a lot of people coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan are suffering from PTSD, and the therapists there, of course, are working with them. And so I'm doing everything that I can possibly do to better educate myself about not only oncology massage, but also post-traumatic stress disorder massage. And so that's very exciting for me. My continuing education classes always enrich my life, and I always look forward to the way that I can share that information with my students and with my community and with my clients.
And with the oncology massage, that is just insane. I mean, there's so much knowledge out there that I'm speechless, basically, because I went to a conference a few weeks ago to Oncology's summit and stuff, and it was just amazing, everything that they had to say. So
it is amazing. You sent me the link to that, and I looked it up, and I communicated with those people, and they are just right on. They're right on the money. I'm so glad they're doing what they're doing. Tracy Walton's another teacher I'd love to study with, and I intend to do that too. I've invited her to Austin, and we're talking about that. She was here 10 years ago, and she loved it.
Okay.
So I'm hoping she'll come back. Or I'll go to her.
Yep.
One way or the other, it'll happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what of all the states that have continuing education classes, what do you think's the best so far that has the information, documentation, registration?
Mm-hmm. Well, in Texas, we're really fortunate to have an extraordinary director of the massage therapy program. Her name is Yvonne Feinweib, and she's just a wonderful person. She's very empathetic and caring and extremely knowledgeable about the rules and regulations, and so she makes herself very available to us, to people who are not only the therapists but also the people who are providing the continuing education. And so for me, it's the person that makes the Texas program really an excellent and outstanding program. Florida has a computerized system, and it's really user-friendly for the providers as well as for the CE class participants. And I really love the system that Florida has. The National Certification Board also has a great system. It's changing over the years. But what I notice in the Florida system is that it's the onus of responsibility of the massage therapy provider to report the continuing education credits to the Florida department, and then the student is granted their license for renewal. And not every state does it that way. Some states work more on the honor system. So I would compliment Florida on a job well done. And what I would really encourage other states to look at Florida as a model.
And then Sid Duncan, do you know who he is?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. He says Florida's #1 in everything. So.
But Texas is bigger and better.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, ouch.
Just ask any Texan.
Yep. Don't mess with Texan. How important do you feel good website design is to a continuing education provider's success? I know you talked a little bit about it before, but what things have you learned over the years with your website and stuff that you know has gone good or gone bad or?
Well, I've had some really great feedback from professionals in the field that I deeply appreciate. And over the course of the time that I've had my website up, I've changed my color scheme, and I've just really made it as user-friendly as I can. I took a lot of the verbiage out, so it's easier and faster to read, and at the same time, it's very descriptive, so a person can easily go to the website and read the information about a course and find out specifically what that course does and does not cover. And so I think that's really important in today's technological age, that someone can review the information on the website, and then if they have any questions, they can contact me. So that gives them a good foundation. One thing that Julie Onofrio suggested was to put buttons on the site so people could immediately be taken to a registration page and a payment page. And so I did that at her suggestion, and the buttons worked very well. We had tried another system that worked well, but it was a little tiny bit confusing. So I wanted to even avoid a little bit of confusion and just make it as clear and easy and fast to use as possible, where people can look at both a chronological list of the courses that I offer, and they can also look at an alphabetical list of the courses by course name. And so I have separate pages for the online courses and the classroom courses, and then of course separate pages for my massage therapy services, the menu of services that I offer in my massage therapy practice.
Okay.
And it's just really wonderful to have a good website. I think it makes a huge difference in how you present yourself to the community. I mean, they say first impressions are the most important, and I really agree with that. So if you have a good website that loads quickly, it doesn't take 2 hours to load it. And it's just, that's so frustrating. I'll go right on to another site. My site loads quickly, and also my Webmaster is just my gift from heaven. He's just such an important person in my life. His name is Mikhail Davenport, and he's just a wonderful webmaster, and he comes up with some really brilliant ideas about how to fine-tune the website and what we can do in terms of adding keywords so I'm higher on the search engines, and that's a whole topic in itself, and how to be high on the search engines so when someone searches, they can find you very quickly. And one way is to put videos on your website. So I'm very excited about learning iMovie and all the other things that I'm learning on the Mac to help embed those in the website, and that ups your status in the search engines. So that's exciting to me.
Yep, and yeah, video is the wave of the future, basically. So
It certainly is. I love your videos.
Yep,
that's a PhD program right there.
Yep.
Where did you get your education? Massage nerd PhD.
Yep. or you could just say, or you could just say, I learned it on the internet. Yep. And then. Do you feel it is of value to be nationally approved CE provider as well as a CE provider approved in individual states too?
Oh, I feel it's essential. Yes, I was nationally approved long before Texas ever had continuing education online courses. And so I feel like it's really important to be nationally approved because then you're nationally accessible.
Yep.
It's a no-brainer, really. And people go to the national certification site and they search for providers. And so that's an extremely good marketing tool and well worth the investment. And also the National Certification Board requires over 40 hours of continuing education for their providers and their therapists every 4 years. And so that really encourages me to seek courses that are taught by people who are NCBTMB certified instructors. And I think that's a really wonderful thing, too. And so I do believe that it's very important to be nationally certified as well as to be certified by your state board and to be approved by other boards throughout the United States.
And then Sid Duncan said that the webmaster you hire becomes your new spouse, basically. So,
Nick, I love to hear that.
Yep.
I think I'm blushing.
Yeah, you are, and we can see it too. So, yeah.
I can see it too. It's a very small picture.
Yep.
Well, they are definitely, whoever the webmaster is, they are very valuable people in your life, and I'm very grateful for Mikhail's presence. And I don't, my website would look so different without him. And the promptness of his service is something that I really value also, that I'll send him something and I'll say, at your convenience, this isn't a high priority. And when I wake up the next morning, I'll have an email, it's done.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
So I am very grateful, and I highly recommend aligning yourself with a good webmaster. And if your webmaster is someone who's difficult to deal with, then find someone who is more tuned to you energetically, because that energy is going into your website, and it will help you just have things flow so much more smoothly in your life. I've tried it both ways, and I like it. I like it better having a webmaster who I'm compatible with.
Okay. So what sign are they? No.
GA, guardian angel.
Okay, good. Okay.
That's his initials.
Okay. And what continuing education courses are you looking forward to developing in the near future?
The ones that I'm really excited about are oncology and Thai massage, a deeper emphasis on working with people, as I mentioned earlier, with PTSD, and also more advanced marketing classes, working with people, particularly focusing on social media, for example, or on different ways to improve your marketing skills.
And so
those are the classes that I'm really excited about. I'm also working on pathology and anatomy and physiology and more cognitive classes too. And so that makes me a better person and a better therapist and a better teacher. But it also is a class. I ask my students, what class would you like to see offered? And so those are the ones that have come up more than any of the other classes. So I'm just following their lead and making their desires my highest priority.
Yeah. And do you have anybody from out of the United States taking your classes too, or is it mostly just United States people?
Well, that's an interesting question. I have some people who live in Costa Rica who study with me online. They used to come study with me in person, and I was so proud. People to come study with me. Well, it turns out they do have friends in Austin, and I'm here too. So, but now they can take the classes online. And so, yes, there are people who may have a license in a particular state, whether it's Texas or Washington or another state. And those classes need, in order for them to keep their license, they have to have their continuing education. But they may not want to leave the country that they're in right now. And so, yes, I do have people from other countries taking classes from me. And one of these days I'd like to go to those other countries. Bora Bora is pretty high on my list, along with Tahiti. Any tropical paradise island. Hear that, Caribbean? I'll come teach there. So, yes, I have people coming from other parts of the world. And I just found out today that there is an international cosmetology certification. And so I've been a cosmetology instructor before also. And so I'm going to look into that international cosmetology certification and see if there isn't a way that I can teach that, teach under that umbrella. And if there's also something that's comparable for a massage therapist. I haven't heard of it yet, but there may be, particularly for people who work on cruise lines.
Okay.
So, yes, I've always got my feelers out, and I'm always thinking about, what can I do to expand it and go one step beyond the level that I'm at right now.
And do you ever teach classes in different states, actually go to another state to teach, or is it all in-house in Texas then?
No, I love teaching in other states. It's really fun to go traveling, and When I was first designing my classes, I talked to Art Riggs in California, and I said, Art, you have such a wonderful way that you teach, and it's just really beautiful, the system that he has set up. And so he teaches in England and teaches in Europe, and he said, well, Ariana, the thing that you do is you just find a place you want to go and teach. That's a beautiful philosophy. Why didn't I think of that? But yes, I'm available. I'm here for hire.
Okay.
So anyone out there in Bora Bora, you're hearing this
yep.
tape, and you want to hire me, I'll come.
Yep.
Yes.
And have you ever gone to any massage conferences or conventions or festivals or anything?
Oh, yes. I've done presentations at a lot of different places, and I started out doing the art of self-massage at Barton Creek Resort and Country Club back in the 80s. And so that was one of my first opportunities to teach a class. This was guest of the resort. And so it was really wonderful to do that, and I discovered after offering the first class, that I really loved it. And so, yes, I offer classes for the Texas Association of Massage Therapists, for example. I taught my practice building class, and then for several of the meetup groups here in town, I've offered a variety of different classes and techniques, and it's just been lovely. I just have enjoyed it so much. And I would love to do it on a grander scale.
Yeah. and what are the main classes that you actually teach out of state then, would you say, or people that they said there's more of a need for it?
Mm-hmm. Let me take a look at my classes. The ones that are portable, that are easily portable. For example,
not hot. No.
No. I have a friend who'll do that for me, though. I can refer it to her.
Uh-huh.
And so, yes, I would, the classes that would lend themselves well to out-of-state venues would, of course, be the deep tissue therapy classes, because those classes would be a table and some sheets and some students. And so those classes are really easy to teach out of state. Aromatherapy, back, neck, and shoulder massage, chair massage would be a little more difficult because people would have to have their chairs. Couples massage. Facial and scalp massage, as I said, is a very popular class, and so that's a class that can be taught out of state. Headache and allergy relief. Austin is not only the music capital of the world and the massage capital of the world, but it is the headache and allergy relief capital of the world too, or allergy capital of the world. So I have a lot of clients, and a lot of people want to learn how to relieve symptoms related to allergies. And so in that class, for example, we use 5 different modalities, from myofascial to acupressure to aromatherapy to craniosacral techniques to manual lymphatic drainage. And so that kind of class, because it's all, I have all the information within me, and we don't need any hot or cold stones out there or warmers or anything like that. So those are the kind of classes: lymphatic massage for the face and neck, prenatal massage, reflexology. Reiki's a very easy class to teach out of state, and stretching and breathing, pain management, ethics, meditation as a therapeutic tool, mindfulness, how to enhance your skills in a therapeutic setting, and of course practice building, which is a very popular class. Even though it's covered in core curriculum, if you went to school 10 years ago, everything's changed with the internet and technology. So it's a good updater for people who've been in practice over a decade.
Okay.
Yeah. And everybody needs ethics. I mean, everybody needs to take an ethics class. Most states require that. I'm not going to say everybody, but most states require that. But the National Certification Board certainly requires it. And so that's always a class that can be taught either online or in person, and it's a popular class because it's required.
Yep. And do you offer any classes, your online classes, in different languages at all, or is it just all English for right now, or?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. I'm just in the process of translating my massage therapy instructor class to Spanish.
Oh,
because,
awesome.
Several of my students down in my friend Bob Leal has students who are in the Valley in Texas, and they are predominantly Spanish speaking. And so I translated my class using Google Translate, by the way.
Oh, cool.
There, I use technology again.
Yep.
So I used to translate and then had a human being who is a native Spanish speaker from Ecuador. He's reviewing the class right now. And as soon as he accepts it and looks at the idioms and the strange parts of the translation, then we're going to put that class online too. And then, of course, the exam will be online and everything will be online. So that's inspired me to offer the classes in other languages, particularly Spanish, French, Vietnamese would be a very good language to offer the classes in. And so that's something that I'm moving in that direction. I would like to see more. I'm a big believer in multicultural opportunities for people to learn in their native language. And so I think that, yes, the company that I use right now is the Litmos training program. And so I've discussed that with them, and we have a way that we can set that up in the Litmos program so I can offer these online classes in different languages.
Yeah, because
so that's very exciting. I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah, and a few weeks ago, I had Tony Newman. He teaches chair massage over in France, and he said most people in France, if they see a website with English, they won't even look at it, even though they might know how to read it or even speak English, but they prefer French, of course. So.
Well, the same thing's true in Quebec. I lived 3 years in French Quebec, and so if someone has an opportunity to take a course in French versus English, because French is their native language, and also it's the language that they speak to their clients in. And so if they learn muscular terms in another language and then they have to translate it, it makes it more difficult for them. So I can certainly understand that. And so not only will it help market my classes in France, but it would also help me market my classes in Quebec. As you know, Canada has region by region continuing education requirements. And so that's another opportunity that I'm going to take to research that more carefully. What's available in Canada, what's required of the continuing education provider in Canada. I know some provinces in Canada and like a 2,000-hour core curriculum.
Yep.
So that's a lot more than most of the states in the United States.
Yep.
So they take their massage therapy training very seriously. So I would look forward to offering continuing education classes to such a highly trained population.
And then I know quite a few years ago I was in the Philippines, and most all therapists there were blind. Have you ever had somebody blind in your classes at all?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of known for that in my community, that I do have blind students in the class, and they love the class. They usually come with a friend who drives them, or they have someone else drive them, and it's just a wonderful experience. We work well together, and the classes are the proper size that I can give each person individual attention, and so I'm always sure to balance my time out between the therapist. And so, yes, it's worked very well. And one of the other goals that I have for my website and for my classes is to have it be compatible, ADA compatible, American with Disabilities Act compatible.
Great.
And so that's something that I'm moving in that direction. And that would involve, that's one of the reasons I'm learning on the Mac. I used, Guitarland to work with audio. And so just to have an audio that someone who is blind could listen to would be very helpful. Usually what I do is I send them the course notebook prior to the class, and they run it through their scanners, or they have someone read it to them. But I feel like if the course was ADA compliant, and if my website was ADA compliant, which isn't that hard to do, there's a program called JAWS, J-A-W-S, that is speech, that turns the text into speech. So I'm looking at ways that I can do that will help be accessible for many people, regardless of what their abilities are.
And that's a whole new market too. I mean, that a lot of people haven't tapped into that area yet, and I mean, and even with video too and stuff. So with subtitles and stuff, I mean, that's a whole other option too. And
it certainly is to have the videos with subtitles and also with voice.
Yep.
And so I think that would really reach markets that previously had to take some extra special effort to reach them. And so I'm very sensitive about that, and I'm really moving strongly in that direction, and as quickly as possible too. I wish I could clone myself and pay myself double. great. I'm sure a lot of us do that, don't we?
But the way I do it for myself is I just don't sleep much, so that's the best way to do it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I teach a class called self-care.
Oh, yeah.
And in that class, we talk about the importance of sleep.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things. That's one of the top 5.
I know. but I get so much more accomplished, though. So.
We're talking about long-term.
Yep, exactly.
But that's a whole nother interview.
Yep, exactly. And
so the self-care is in good shape, and your thumbs are still attached to your hands.
Yeah.
And so we talk about things that we can do. I love Lurleen Green's book, Save Your Hands. And so we talk about things like that and what you can do to have good body mechanics and really to monitor your body mechanics. And I especially love having students who are new to the profession so they don't develop any skills any negative patterns that would be detrimental to them over a period of time. And so I think it's really important to focus on self-care as well as body mechanics. So I tie that all into one class. And that's a pretty popular class too. A lot of spas like to have that class, have a group of people from the spa come out so they can all learn how to, do their best and do it with the least amount of damage to their being. So that creates a long-term employee, which is always good financially and emotionally. If you go to a spa or clinic and you're able to see the same massage therapist time and time again, that can be very beneficial for the clinic and also for the therapist. So there you go.
Yep.
It's a win-win-win situation, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, because I'm seeing so much stuff out there for self-care and self-help and stuff now. I mean, just because people are just burning their bodies out so much quicker, it seems, and because so many people want deeper work, it seems. And
yes. And so in the deep tissue classes that I teach, we talk about the 5 tools that you use, which are not your thumbs.
Yeah.
At least not a loose hand, dangling thumb.
Yep.
And so, in deep tissue classes, we also emphasize body mechanics because deep tissue is not, as you know, Swedish harder.
Yep.
Way to put your thumbs out. So we want to avoid that. I really believe in preventive medicine. And so that's, I care about my students, and I really want the best for them. And so that's one way to do that is to help them look at things that they can do within their practice to help them be happy and healthy, not just in their practice, but in their life as a whole. And so for me, that's been really helpful, and communicating with other people in the massage field has also been helpful. Laura Allen has been a wonderful mentor to me, and she's written 2 books that have been especially meaningful for me as I mentor other people. And one of them is the course that she offers for preparing for the massage therapy exam. And so that's just a wonderful book, and I find that even as a 30-year practitioner, I learned so much reviewing that book with the people I mentor. And I had a person I was mentoring, and she registered to take the test, and her 90 days were almost up, and she thought she could extend it, and she couldn't. So she had to go take the test really quickly before she felt like she was really prepared. And I said, get Laura Allen's book, read it, do the exercises. And she did, and she passed the first time, and it was like such a huge success. I was so happy for her.
Awesome.
And so I'm really happy to be in a community of people who are caring and compassionate and really take time out of their daily lives to create such beautiful books as Laura has. And she also has a wonderful book about practice building and marketing. And so I highly recommend that book too. And I've benefited from it personally using some of her suggestions. So it's great how much resources we have, and of course I find out about them on Facebook.
Yep.
Oh, great.
Yep.
This is so easy. I just log into Facebook, and Betty White says it's a waste of time, but I don't believe it.
Yeah, I love Facebook.
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here now talking to you.
Yep. Have you ever used TweetDeck at all? Have you heard of that program?
I haven't. I noticed that you are a fan, and you said it's addicting, so I was scared.
Yep. Yeah, because you could put Twitter and Facebook all in one, and you can either have it on your phone or you can have it on your computer and stuff. And It's just
Oh.
it's just condensing everything basically to make so you can accomplish a lot more a lot quicker.
Well, I'm going to hang up right now.
Yep.
Tweet that.
Yep, exactly. And
well, I'm glad they're doing that.
Yep.
And I love to accomplish more quicker.
Yep. And
That's one of the rules of success, isn't it?
Yep, exactly. And do you teach classes to the average public too, not just massage therapists, just like basic massage? Or okay.
Yes, in fact, I'm also considering developing a line of videos that can be offered for review, not for continuing education credit. And so that would include couples massage, for example. That'd be a very good example of that. So if a couple wanted to know how to massage each other and had not had any formal training and didn't really have the time to do that, they could review the information on the online. And I also do that in person. I also teach a couples massage in person for the general public. And all of my classes are open for the general public. So if someone wanted to learn Reiki, but they weren't a massage therapist, they would certainly be welcome to come to the classes and participate. And I think the more the merrier. The more people who learn massage techniques, the better. We need that in our society, especially now, in this day and age. So I just really feel like the more people who have access to information about massage therapy and massage therapy education and a variety of techniques, the better.
Yep, and for myself, I mean, I sell videos on Amazon, and my biggest sellers are the basic stuff, because like Swedish massage, chair massage, deep tissue, those sell a lot better than the advanced stuff. But you'd think it'd be more the advanced stuff, but there's so many of the average public wanting that stuff. So.
Yes, and I try to do that.
Yep.
Well, you'll laugh at this. I try to teach a Swedish review class when I first started my continuing education career, and at that point in time, I was able to do it. But then somehow, I don't know what happened, but the rules changed, and the state board decided that you can't teach an advanced continuing education class in something that's offered in the core curriculum.
Oh.
Swedish. Yeah. And not only did the state board decide that, but the National Certification Board also decided that. They said that if it's a core curriculum class like Swedish, then you can't offer it again as a continuing education class. And so I had to pull those two classes, and broke my heart. But now I can put them back. I can put them back just for non-CE credit.
Yep. Or you can call them something else, like Swedish with a kick, or.
I just called it advanced Swedish, but it still wasn't palatable for them. And Swedish with a kick.
And the guy I interviewed from France the other week, he said they don't even call it Swedish massage over there. They call it California massage. Yeah. So I thought that was a cool term and stuff. So that's another term you can use. And
well, I wonder if they still use the words effleurage and petrissage.
Yeah, they do. Yep. And masseuse and masseur, he said it's common over there. They use those kind of terms, but here we don't use them as much, of course. So, but.
Well, I'll just have to go to France and do some research. I went to France in '75, and I'd love to go back.
Yep.
It's a beautiful country. I love the Loire Valley and Chamonix and the Mont Blanc and, of course, the City of Light.
Yep.
Yes. I'll have to hook up with your previous interviewee.
Yep.
Maybe we could teach.
Yep. And he's actually from the United States, but I think for about 15 years now he's been in France just teaching chair massage. So yeah. He just found his little niche.
I'm a little jealous.
Yep.
I have a friend from the U.S. who's in Thailand right now in Chiang Mai teaching Thai massage.
Oh, yep. Yeah, I connected with him. He seems like a very knowledgeable guy and stuff, and yep.
Yeah, he'll be coming back to the States now. He got tired of dodging bullets.
Oh, he did? Oh, yeah.
We're looking forward to his return.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to collaborate with him on some classes.
Okay.
And so whether we actually team teach or not, I don't know if that's going to come to fruition, but we certainly will work together in terms of filming and marketing and helping him get oriented back into the U.S. So it's really exciting so I can take the information that I gain and share it with other CE providers and other educators, and then they can educate me about areas that I'd like to learn about, like making movies.
Yep, exactly.
It's wonderful. It's just so nice when you're open with your information, how people are so receptive and so kind, and they find ways to express their gratitude. Sometimes it's immediate, and sometimes it's years and years later. It's just so rewarding. I love this profession.
Yep. And with you being in Texas, is there anything different, would you say, with massage, or anything they specialize in more, or just anything in general that's different compared to other states?
Well, it was true before the internet, but now that's kind of, I'm not going to use the word homogenized us, but it's really introduced us into modalities faster than before we had the internet. It's just like with the internet, you can watch on videos on YouTube and learn about new techniques, and they're hot, and you go, oh, wow, I wish we offered this in our clinic, and then suddenly you're starting to offer it in your clinic. The only thing we don't do is we don't do much hot stone in the summer because it's so
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yep.
I studied hot stone in August, and I tried to market it in August in Texas.
Oh!
Mistakes I've made. That was one of the biggest.
Yeah. Do you guys use cold stones down? Yeah. Do you guys use cold stones then too? Or okay. Okay.
Marble stones and.
Okay.
So we just do a cold stone session.
Yep. Yeah, doesn't it get really nasty there for the heat and?
Oh, but the winters are so mild.
Yeah, our winters are. Yeah.
Now, Ryan.
Yeah.
We have this marvelous thing called air conditioning, so we're happy.
Oh yeah.
You have to come visit sometime.
Yep. And
you're always welcome.
Yep. And we have a little joke in Minnesota. There's 6 months of winter and 6 months of road construction. So. So it's constant road construction all the time.
Oh, so you get a lot of whiplash clients.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Chiropractors love the winter. Yep, they see a lot of yep. Yeah, because
you can have a lot of hot stone in the winter there.
Yep. And even during the summer, it's not that hot, so we're busy all the time with it. We even use flannel sheets during the winter. I mean, during the summer.
Same thing's true in San Francisco.
Yep.
That's for sure. Yes, there are a lot of expatriate Minnesotans down here in Texas because 3M moved a big facility here. So we have a lot of people from Minnesota.
Okay, yep. You're saying it right. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I listen to Lake Wobegon.
Yep.
Are you a Swedish bachelor?
Yeah. And is there any other things that you think that are interesting about your life?
I never think about my life.
Yeah. Have you had any major injuries or anything with massage? Yeah.
Well, let's see. I did throw a hot stone across a tile one time when I was demonstrating a technique. It broke the stone, not the tile.
Oh, it did. Oh.
Interesting, but it didn't injure anybody. Thank God. I made them all wear their shoes.
Yep. Yeah, it must have not have been a basalt because those are pretty hard. So.
No, it was one of my marble stones.
Okay, yep.
The precious of the lot.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I didn't injure anyone.
Yep.
And that's a good question because some insurance companies won't insure people who do hot stones, but there's only one company that won't. And so I got a call from one of my friends who runs the tower spa at the Hilton here in Austin, and he said, I don't know what to do. Most of my massage therapists have insurance with this particular company. And so I did some research for him, and I found the companies that do provide coverage for people who have hot stone and sent him that information. And so, I spend a lot of time in community service like that too, just doing something for a friend because I'm kind of the go-to person in many respects, and I'm happy to do that. I'm on the Legislative Advisory Board for the Texas Association of Massage Therapists, so I know a lot about the rules and regulations, and I'm also part of the National Certification Board Legislative Action Committee, and so to me that's of interest. I just find it rather interesting to find out what's going on nationwide in terms of the rules and regulations, so keeps me out of trouble.
Yep.
But I haven't gotten injured that way.
Yep.
I tend to work out at the gym. One way I avoid injuries is to work out at Lifetime Fitness. So I do a lot of, activities at the gym, push-ups and things like that keep my wrist strong. And that really, I think, has been a saving grace for me in my massage practice, is to stay physically fit, to do kickboxing and things like that, of that nature that keep my aerobic activity up. So I highly recommend that too.
Yep.
It's just like I think that's been a big part of me avoiding any serious injuries in terms of being injured in line of duty as a massage therapist.
And during the winter, do you guys get a lot of snowbirds then?
Oh yeah, we're a great haven for snowbirds. It's a wonderful place for a snowbird to come. Y'all come down. Y'all come down here. And call Ariana Institute when you do. Yes, and so we do. And so the resorts in our area, like the Hyatt Lost Pines out near Bastrop, which is very close to Austin, they stay busy year-round. And so that's very nice for the massage therapist in here. It's not a particularly, the high season is really spring, but there's a year-round need for massage therapists and spas in this area. So it is nice that people come at different times of the year. And we find that, just great that you could work, say, at the Crossings Wellness Spa or the Lake Austin Spa or, as I mentioned earlier, the Hyatt Lost Pines, or at the Hilton, any of the downtown hotels, because there are conferences here, and it's a very active and vital community. And that serves the massage therapy community very well, that we have a good client base to pull from.
Yeah, because I know, like in Florida and Arizona, there's a Mayo Clinic satellite hospitals there, and they actually lay people off during the summer or cut them down to part-time just because they're not as busy. But during the winter, that's when they're more busy because they got a lot of more of those snowbirds coming down. So.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, because I live in Rochester, Minnesota, and that's the home of Mayo Clinic and stuff. So. Yeah, so that's where we.
I love Mayo Clinic. They have some very good online research available.
Yep.
You can go to the Mayo Clinic website, and they have some very good research on massage therapy and deep tissue trauma.
Yep.
Well, you're lucky to be there.
Yep.
What a great place to be.
Yep. And the thing is, since I live here, we don't appreciate it as much as the average person, though. So everybody, because the thing is, we're just so used to it. And my wife actually works for a Mayo Clinic, too, so.
Oh, wonderful. Well, that's similar to the MD Anderson Cancer Hospital, which is known internationally as one of the best cancer centers in the United States. And I'm very happy to see that they offer not only traditional medical treatment, but they are also looking at the relationship of stress and illness. And that's neuroimmunology is a very dear and important part of my life and my research. And so I'm very happy to be associated, or to be studying, I should say, at MD Anderson. And feel fortunate that that's just a 3-hour drive away.
Yep.
So we are lucky to have these huge research facilities and to see that a lot of them are opening up more and more to complementary therapy such as massage. And so that's a real benefit for, I think, for the population as a whole and also for massage therapists.
Yep. And the hospitals there, would you say most of the hospitals have massage therapists on staff, or?
Some of them do, and some of them refer to massage therapists. And a lot of the hospitals have wellness programs. St. David's, for example, has a wonderful, wonderful wellness program, and there are some yoga teachers and people who teach massage therapy. Seton has what they call the Seton Wellness Cove, and so in the Seton Wellness Cove, people offer massage therapy. And if if a patient wants a massage therapist to come into a hospital, you simply get a written permission from the doctor, and they make it pretty open. I would say that it's much more open than it was, say, 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago. And that's really a beautiful thing, because there is such a high correlation between stress and illness, and being hospitalized is a major stress for a lot of people, and so that could help alleviate that stress.
Okay.
And as a preventative, of course, relieving stress can help prevent some illnesses, as research has shown, particularly cancer.
Okay.
I'm not going to say prevent, but help for lessen the chance of someone contracting a disease. Yeah, and leading a healthy life.
Yep. And what's the average price for massage down in Texas?
Well, it depends on how long the person's been practicing. Most people are charging $65, $75, and $80 an hour, unless you go to the larger spas, and then they're charging more.
Okay. So it is a little bit more than Minnesota, I'd say, then, probably.
Well, it depends on how long the person's been practicing and where they're practicing. If they're practicing in a small Texas town where the cost of living is lower and the income is typically lower, too, in a small Texas town, then the hourly wage would be less. But in a major metropolitan area like Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin, then the prices average $65 to $75 to $80, depending on how long the therapist has been in practice and what particular modality they're offering. Of course, deep tissue is more expensive, hot stone's more expensive, and Swedish would be more than likely one of the lower fees that a client would pay.
Okay. And then how many classes do you offer online right now then?
I offer 25 classes online right now.
Holy.
And then I also offer the massage therapy instructor's course.
Okay. So that's quite a bit of variety then, basically.
It is. Yeah. It is. I think it can be a really good way for a person to increase their skills without having to leave their home, because a lot of people in Texas do live in small Texas towns, and it's very inconvenient for them to leave their family and their practices and have to drive to the city to take a course. And so some of the courses are overview courses that can be complemented with a course on site, and that would be something that I would recommend if someone wanted to take, say, an overview of deep tissue course and then take an on-site course. That would be a very good coupling. Or I talked to someone the other day who wants to take an aromatherapy course, and she wasn't able to take my class earlier this year, so I said, why don't you take the online course and then schedule either a mentoring session with me or a treatment with me, and we can talk about the practical portion of it. Okay. And so it works out very well that way. And I'm looking forward to doubling the number of classes before the end of the year. It's just a matter of, now that I've got my PC given to Goodwill and my Mac all ready and active, then I can focus more on designing more courses.
And how many continuing education credits per class would you say are on average for the classes that you offer?
Oh, I keep it really simple. Every class is 6 hours.
Okay.
It's all the same.
Okay.
Each class, 6-hour class. Yes. And so, and it's all the same price, and so it's very simple. It's a very simple system.
Okay. And do you plan on having longer ones maybe down the road, or just keep them?
I've looked into that as a possibility, and I've spoken with several of my mentors about that. And I particularly spoke with Eric Dalton about teaching in Costa Rica, because he's done that so successfully at Pura Vida. And he's been a really good resource. I really appreciate how accessible he is and how kind he is to respond. Yep. And so, yes, I do intend at some point for longer classes in exotic tropical locales.
And he's building a house there right now, too, so it's going to be more convenient for him. So, Yes,
it certainly will be. Yeah, it very much so. And so I appreciate the vanguard that he's been for me. And yes, so I have thought about doing that in Texas also, just on a smaller scale, and have communicated with several people who have local B&Bs and bed and breakfast, and talked to them about using their facilities to have overnight classes. It would be like weekend classes. And then, of course, Costa Rica would be a longer class.
Okay. And do
My first desire was Tahiti, but then my mentor said he just happened that he had been to Tahiti. He said, "Do you know how much it costs to get to Tahiti?" I'm like, "No." You know how far away it is from Texas.
Yeah.
So I had to get out my map, and I just kind of let that one lie for a little bit. But someday I'll be there.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it a bit.
Yeah.
You gotta have a dream. If you don't have a dream, how are you going to have a dream come true?
Yep, exactly. And do you
That's what I believe.
and do you offer home study courses too, or is it just online and in class then? So
Well, actually, the online class is a home study class.
Okay.
They just all they have to do if they don't have a computer, I'll just mail them a notebook.
okay.
And so, but most people have computers. They can download the notebook from the computer and print it out. So that makes it a home study class, or they can, if they work at a spa where they have, 1 hour and then they're off for 3 hours and then they have another hour, they can study on their break time. So when I first set up my classes, I set it up as protected. I just had all my PDF files protected, and then I just decided to let that go and make it easy for the students. So if a student signs up for my class, they can just download the notebook and print it out, and then they can study it at their leisure, and then they can take the exam online. So yes.
And do you want to offer more of those types, or you want to just?
All of my classes are set up that way.
Okay.
That they can be either turned into a notebook or studied on the web. Like the massage therapy instructor classes, of course, is a 30-hour class, so a lot of people like to print that out instead of reading it all online.
Okay.
So that works well. It works well for them, and if they don't have a computer, I'll print it out and send it to them.
Okay.
And I explain all that to them on the website too. It's a very easy process. They register for the class, they submit their payment, either by credit card or through PayPal, and then they take the class, they register for the class, they're automatically registered for the class, they receive an email from Litmos, which is my testing program, and then they can download the notebook, they review the notebook, and then they take the exam at the end. And then Litmos sends me the results of the exam, and it has to be a 75% pass rate, and then then I send them the certificate of completion, and that completes the process. It's really a very simple process, and most people love it quite a bit. I get great feedback from both the classroom classes and the online classes. People just tend to really, really like it a lot.
And with the certificates, do they have to? Do you mail them to them, or do you email them, or how does that work?
I email them.
Okay.
I email the certificates to them, and they're beautiful calligraphy certificates, and they can print them out on really nice paper. In fact, I've had students do that, and they just print it out on nice paper and frame it. And if they want a certificate that's printed out on really nice paper with blue and gold around the edge, I can also do that and send it to them if that's what they prefer. And so I can do it either way. But most of the students just want it emailed to them, and so that's their proof that they have completed their continuing education courses. And that's one thing that the Litmos program is hoping to improve at some point, completion for each student who's completed it. I mean, can you imagine having to generate 10,000 certificates?
Oh, yeah.
So right now I'm able to stay on top of it,
Yep.
and but I do hope that either Litmos changes their program so they can automatically generate the certificate, or I find a way around it in my own system, or I choose another program to help me.
Yeah, because I know with the World Massage Conference, they do it automatically and stuff, so yeah, it's so much simpler.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
But it's one of those things. It's a new technology, and it's a new way of learning, and so I think people are just learning how to do it correctly and how to do it the most efficiently for all concerned.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what do your tests involve usually when you have the online continuing education classes? Is there any certain? I mean, do you have to have so many test questions, or how does that go about?
Oh, there are no specific parameters that are set by state or by national. However, some states do require some states do have certain requirements. But for my test, the way I design the test is that they're in accordance with the information, of course, that's in the notebook, and they're multiple choice or they're true and false. And so this person can go through the class, the assessment, and decide multiple choice, true or false. whatever the answers are, and then submit those. And if they need to go back and retake the test, they have an option of retaking the test again. So it's a system that's really designed to be very user-friendly.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what's so frustrating about online stuff. People, if they're not really computer literate, I mean, it's so frustrating with them. So the easier, the better, of course. And
yes, it is. It's very easy. That's why I explain it on the website. I'm available to speak with people in person, and I've just sat with people I've gone through it step by step. Okay, open this. All right, look at that. Okay, now you can see your assessment. And the Litmus program also explains it very easily too. And so I have a letter of introduction, a welcome letter. And when people sign up for the class, the Litmus program mails this welcome letter automatically to the person who signed up. And so that tells them step by step what they need to do and what they can expect. So that does make it a lot easier, especially for people who aren't computer literate. And I always suggest that they find someone to work with them if they're having challenges with that. And if they have challenges that they really feel severely blocked by having to take it online, then we'll just talk about having them come in for a class or sending them the notebook so they can do it hard copy.
And when people sign up for your classes, how long do they have to take them then? Is there a certain time period?
Yes, they have 60 days.
Okay, 60.
From the time they sign up for the class, they have 60 days to complete the class.
Okay. And you said you use PayPal. Do you use other things too? I think you mentioned one other thing that you use for people to pay.
Oh, yes. I have several different ways for people to make their payments. And so they can go through my website and register for the class, and they can either go through PayPal or they can pay by credit card online. And the other option is for them to call me with their credit card number. And then I have a company called CellCharge, CELLCHARGE, and I take down all the credit card information and I charge it via CellCharge. And so there are other options, and if people want to pay by check, they can do that also. They can just send me a check. And I've even had people come over here personally before a class and pay me in cash. Not often. There are a few people who really, have that particular desire and they have their lives set up that way. So I'm very happy to accommodate them.
What's a check? What's a check?
No, check. Yeah. Someone in front of you in the grocery line spends an hour filling out.
Yep.
When you're in a hurry.
There's so many places that don't accept checks anymore, so it's just like we're so credit card based now. And
It's very easy with the credit card. I love CellCharge. It's just a wonderful system. They send me a statement once a month, and it's easy to overview, and they haven't made a mistake yet. So, and you can just call them on the phone. I don't have to have one of those big machines that goes ka-chunk, ka-chunk, with a credit card. It's a very easy system. So I like that a lot. It's easy for the person signing up for the class, and it's easy for me as a provider. So it works well all the way around.
And is it more automated then too? Once let's say they don't even have to deal with you, kind of thing to start off with, so they can get started right away then, so they don't have to wait for your total approval yet, right? So
they can sign up at 3 in the morning and take their tests, do their studying and take their test, and I'll have their grade, by the afternoon.
Okay.
It can be done in a heartbeat. And believe me, even with a 2-year renewal date, some people do wait till the last minute. And so there are people who have a last-minute deadline, for example, May 31st. And so all of you out there who have a May 31st deadline, go to www.arianainstitute.com. And yes, they can do it without ever even communicating directly with me. They can register, they can pay, they can take the test, and then they will communicate with me because I'll send them their certificate.
And you mentioned earlier in the program that you're a mentor. Do you actually mentor people and helping them set up their own continuing education too?
I'm moving in that direction.
Okay.
Yes, I'm beginning to move in. I'm hearing an echo now.
Yep.
Can you hear an echo?
Yep, just a little bit. Yep. I'll turn it.
All right. Okay. Yes, I'm designing a course for teaching continuing education providers how to offer continuing education classes. And so that would include things like marketing, designing course curriculum, student retention, and things of that nature that would be of value to them that I've learned over my 30 years of practicing and 11 years of teaching. And so that is a course that's in the works right now, where I would actually work with the therapist and help them design their courses and market their courses and have a successful business.
And a word of advice to the average therapist, do you have any kind of slogans or anything that really you've learned over the years that you would want everybody else to know?
Let's see.
Oh, I finally stumped you.
Let's question.
Yeah.
I usually have this huge collection of quotes.
Yeah.
It's really about making a difference in someone's life. And so it's not so much about what we do or how much money we make, but it's what kind of a difference we've made in the person's life. And so I would say that's what my focus is, that it's making a difference in someone's life that is meaningful and helpful and enriches their lives. And so that gives meaning to my life when I feel like I've accomplished that goal.
Oh, awesome. And my favorite quote for education-based is, what was it again? Sorry.
On the website and see what my favorite quote is.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, here it is. Teachers open up the door, but you must enter by yourself.
That's right.
Yep. Author unknown. Yep.
Well, then you can claim it.
Yep, exactly. Yep. I can't. I've heard it from somebody else before, so I don't know how I can claim that, but.
That's a beautiful quote.
Yep.
I have a collection of quotes called the Garland of Pearls, and so every once in a while on my Facebook site, and anyone who'd like to friend me on Facebook, I'd love to. Up to 5,000 people.
Yep.
Right now, 582 friends.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike Ryan.
Yeah, yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
So friend me. We're in competition now, Ryan and I.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have two sites on Facebook. I have a fan page for Ariana Institute, and then I have a personal page, Ariana Vincent. And so please feel free to find me on Facebook and friend me.
And you'll soon to have a YouTube channel too, since you're starting with iMovie 09 then, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I certainly will.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really looking forward to that. It's
Yeah.
going to be so wonderful. I love YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is such a great resource. I've even had students come into my class and they say, do you know this technique where you take 3 fingers on the sacrum and you make a T and then you move the 3 muscles to the side? And I go, where did you learn that? And she said, Eric Dalton YouTube. I'm sure Eric's going to love that.
Yep, exactly.
So now I look forward to more than ever to having YouTube.
Yep.
It is a wonderful resource. It certainly is. It's an amazing resource.
Yeah.
In fact, in some of my classes, I always end my classes with a list of references. And in some of the classes, I'll list YouTube videos, that are particularly beneficial. And so I'll just direct them to the YouTube videos so they can have an idea about the technique outside of book learning. So it's really nice to have that available. I just can't wait till it goes 3D.
Yep. Well, on
3D
YouTube,
YouTube.
yeah, they actually have that option now. But but it's still kind of in the beta stage, they call that. But some videos are actually 3D, so you have to have the glasses and stuff. So,
Isn't that amazing? Every time I have a great idea.
Yep.
I knew I should have been quiet about that till I developed it myself.
Yep, exactly. And did you know that YouTube just turned 5 this last week? So it's only been 5 years they've been around. So.
Wow, gosh, it seems like forever.
Yep, exactly.
That's amazing. They're doing a wonderful job.
Yep, and they average 2 billion views per day. Billion. Yep.
Well, if they were on Facebook, Facebook would have to up their limit.
Yep, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's really great that people are using the web, to educate themselves. I use it as a wonderful research tool.
Yep, and that's why I put most of my videos on YouTube too, so it gets out to the average public and everybody else. So.
Well, great. I'm happy to be in that group now.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
I'm in good company.
Yep, exactly. So whenever somebody searches your name, this video is going to turn up right away then. So. Yep.
I could be in Bora Bora and they wouldn't know it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And is there any other last words at all that you want to leave with anybody before we tune out?
Well, I'd like to say thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity, Ryan, to be part of your community. It really feels like it's been a wonderful experience, a wonderful interview, and I appreciate your presence in my life and in the massage community. Thanks for all you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, though, too. I mean, you're just everywhere, too. I always see that cool profile picture with your arms kind of extending out and stuff. And
I'm nothing if not happy.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I'm glad you like it. Thank you very much.
Yep. And yep. So hopefully in the next day or two, I'll have the full video up for everybody to view. So that'll be up for a lifetime, basically. So so they can easily get a hold of you anytime they want. So you're on Facebook, I think, even more than I am. So.
Is that possible?
Yes, it is possible. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start sleeping more.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of people when they get up at night, they eat, we Facebook instead. That's how we go back to... Yep, that's how we go back to sleep then, yep. Okay, so thank you very much, Ariana, and it's been a pleasure. And thank you everybody that participated. So again, tomorrow hopefully I'll have the whole video up, and so anybody can view it then. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yep. Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.